It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catalfamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we're talking schools, and my guest over the phone today is Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. Mr. King, thank you very much for taking the time to come on the show.
No, thank you very much, Philip.
Well, we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has made its way to a lot of different outlets. People's working class days are different. School days are completely different. A lot is going on, and we've all had to adapt. So we thought we'd talk to Mr. King and to get an idea of what is going on with the schools. We all know that the school year is officially canceled now. So my first question is, what was the feeling in schools when you received word that all schools had to be closed and then closed for the remainder of the school year due to the pandemic?
Well, the first thought was that when we received word that the schools were going to be closed for the rest of the year, was at least it gave us some closure, and it gave us some ideas on the next directions and the steps that we need to take as a school district to continue to provide education for the children of our community.
Is the district using online methods to continue the school year?
We are. It's a hybrid model, so it's a combination of both live as well as the online piece. But the key thing we're stressing with all of our community right now and all of our kids and families is that while the classrooms may be closed, our schools are still open, and our teachers and staff are working hard for them. The biggest thing that right now that we've been emphasizing with our staff is reaching out to those families and kids and making those phone calls and making those connections, because right now it's more than any time, I think, at least in my career, in my life anyway, those connections and those relationships are more vital than ever. So the expectation is that we're reaching out to our kids and our families and making those phone calls and doing those Zoom meetings and all that stuff to provide that support for our kids and families.
Do you think now, with school continuing online, this is going to be more of a benefit than a negative? You know, because it may have just been, at least for me, somebody who's not in the school, obviously I'm not involved with this, but for me, I just feel like it would have just been easier just to cancel school. So why continue why push the emphasis to just continue educating online?
Well, it's not, like I said, it's not just online. It's continuing so we can do as much as we can to support those families and kids to move forward with education. You know, a lot of what we're doing right now is trying to make a lot of lemonade. And we're rebuilding a system and creating a lot of systems moving forward that we didn't even see could be possible. And right now we're looking at it as an opportunity to continue to build those connections with our kids so that when we do return to school, we're not as far behind or we're not as left behind as we possibly could be.
What does an online class kind of look like at the more high school level? I've had my experience with online classes at the college level, but at the high school level, you said it was a hybrid. So what does that look like?
So we're not a high school. We're an elementary district. We're
a Sorry.
District. No, it's all good. And it looks a little bit different for each class. So if you go to our online learning platform, which you'll find either at our Facebook page or on our website, we have it broken down by grade level. Then we have it broken down by school. Then we have it broken down by teacher. So the teachers all have their own pages, and they have their lesson plans. They've got their resources all available there for teachers as well as students and families to work through. We're also doing paper packets as well that we're sending out through our transportation system into our communities along with our food service. So it looks a lot different than it once did. It's not perfect. I'll be the first one to say that. But it's growing and it's getting better each day. And again, I want to emphasize that right now, I get it. Our families are struggling. A lot of our kids are struggling. A lot of our parents are out of work. It's a very, very stressful time. This is not meant to be, and I do want to emphasize this, this is not meant to be an additional burden on families. And the expectation we have for our staff as well as for our kids and families is do what you can. And if you need help, please reach out. And the first contact that they should have is with those teachers.
Does the district have the capacity to teach online?
We do. For the last 10 years, Cottonwood Oak Creek School District has done amazing work, long before the time that I came here, in creating the networks and the infrastructure that make these things available. So in many ways, we're ahead of the game, and we do have the capacity. And I think what we're doing mostly right now is growing into our capacity and realizing that we have a lot more skills than we thought we had. And I think a lot of people are growing their skills and becoming more comfortable with the technology.
Again, we were talking with Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. Obviously, a lot of kids are going to be out of school right now at any level, really, the elementary all the way up to the college level. Speaking more towards the elementary, they've been out of school since, about March? Are they going to have to make up the time that they lost? Is their summer break? Is this their technical summer break, and then we're going to pick up school in May or possibly June and then pick up again in August? Are any kids going to have to make up the time lost?
So, no. The directive we received from the state and from the governor's office is that school is closed officially from this point on. So what we're looking towards right now is we're looking towards reopening in August and being ready for that. We are looking at some summer school platforms and some summer school ideas, but right now there's no clarity on what that looks like.
Now, what about graduation ceremonies? A lot of kids probably looking forward to graduating and going up to the next level.
Yeah.
Are they going to be pushed aside? Or is it not going to happen? Are they going to be rescheduled? What's going on with that?
Well, I would hope not. I've got a senior myself at Mingus, Violet. She was greatly looking forward to the graduation. When we received the news on Monday that school would be closed for the rest of the year, it was a little bit of a traumatic event in our own family. But the anticipation is that once this lets up and we find the time to do these things, that we'll be looking to reschedule in some form. And again, we don't know what that looks like. Maybe towards June or whenever we can.
Well, I mean, that's probably better than nothing. These kids getting an opportunity still to walk. I know at my alma mater, Grand Canyon University, they had a couple kids walk through the campus in their cap and gowns, which was really nice. But it's good that they're working on ways to allow these kids to go through their graduation ceremonies. Yeah,
it's those events in people's lives I never forget. I'll never forget my high school graduation, or college graduation for that matter. And those times of transition are important for kids, and it's important that we recognize their hard work, and it's important that we take the steps to at least recognize those who have made it thus far.
Couldn't agree more. Again, we're speaking with Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. Are you meeting with the county school superintendent and other district superintendents to work your way through this pandemic?
We are. I think one of the silver linings and things is we've become much, much closer, especially Verde Valley superintendents, all the way from Mike Westcott to Danny Brown to Karen Ward to Dennis Dearden to Danny Howe to Bob Weir. We've all been working very, very closely. And we coordinate. We meet a couple times a week. Of course, it's by Zoom. We're all getting used to the technology as well. But we're sharing ideas, we're sharing resources, and we're sharing the information that's coming through, because there's a lot of information out there right now, and sifting through it to make the best decisions. We're all helping one another, and I greatly appreciate all of them.
Yeah, and it seems like, in terms of the schools, there have been some very, very solid ideas and very, very solid execution on, making sure to protect the kids and reduce the spread of the disease around spring break time. This is when we were really having trouble in the United States, and the cases were starting to grow. And I really do admire kind of how quickly schools acted to sort of try to limit the exposure to the kids and really protect them.
Yeah, for about the last year, we've been working very closely with the Yavapai County Emergency Management Planning Agency, and a lot of the work that we've done, and with their great help, has really come in very useful. We had the plans in place, and as soon as this started to form and develop, and actually we were working on it back even in January, and looking at the possible mitigation factors we could have, but it's been absolutely incredible. I look around the state and I look around the nation and what a lot of the schools are doing, even just locally, and the schools are really stepping up. And I think that's one of the things I would really like to stress is that schools, while the classrooms may be closed, we're still open, and we are functioning very, very differently and very challenging right now. But we're all working very hard for our community. Our food service department, we're going to be pushing up close to 10,000 meals over the last 3 weeks that we're getting out to communities and kids because they still got to eat. I think our classes, if you look at our online platform, there's a lot there. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much and overwhelming. That's, again, what I want to stress is that there's no stress coming from us. We want you to do what you can. We want to be here as a resource to our community. We want to be servants of our community.
That is Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Mr. King on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. Countywide will be right back right after this.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born, and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Want to welcome you back here to Countywide. I'm Philip Catalfamo. I'd like to thank you for rejoining us here. My guest in studio, or over the phone, I should say, because we're doing things differently now, is Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. Mr. King, before we exited into our first break, you mentioned food programs are still continuing at the district. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's like I said before, kids need to continue to eat. Right now, there's some food insecurity in our community, and to meet that need, our food service program with our partners with Sodexo have been instrumental in preparing lunches and breakfasts for the kids of our community. And so far, over the last 3 weeks, we're approaching 10,000 lunches, and those are through 2 drive-through lines. One is at Cottonwood Education Services, which is on Willard, and the other one is out at Oak Creek School, which is out on Purple Sage in Cornville. We've also have 4 bus routes around the community, and those schedules are listed on our website as well as on our Facebook page. And they're distributing both homework packets as well as food. And they've done an absolutely remarkable job. And every morning I go in there and I look at the kitchens and I see those drive-through lines, and our lunch people are working very hard. And we're going to continue that as long as we possibly can. And like I said, we're close to, by the end of the week anyway, we'll be close to 10,000 lunches and breakfasts served out in the community.
We talked a little bit earlier about schools having to shift to the online. What about parents who have trouble with access on the internet or may not have the resources? What are you guys doing for those people?
Yeah, so that's a huge issue. And to meet that need, we've done a couple things. The first one is devices. And so we've taken our Chromebooks that we've had in the classrooms, our technology department's readied those and cleaned those up and gotten them ready to distribute. And so far we've distributed about 216 of those out to the families and children in the community. Now, those Chromebooks are only as good as the internet access you have, and that is one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing right now, especially in the more remote parts of our district, is in what is their access to Wi-Fi and to internet. So to that end, we've been partnering and working with local internet agencies to get those out there, either low cost or no cost. We're not there yet, but we are working diligently to provide those, or at least provide the resources to those families, so they can have access. And it comes down to an equity issue. Many of our families do have their own devices. They've got their own internet, and they're doing just fine. Many of our families do not have either of those. So we're very cognizant, we're very aware of what those needs are, and we are working towards that.
With so much of the school year missed, will this be held against the district when the district receives its letter grade from the state?
No, so the letter grades from the state have all been suspended for the year. So that is not a consideration at all right now, because the testing has all been canceled for the year, the state-mandated testing. And that's predominantly what those letter grades are based upon.
What about state funding?
So we've been assured to the state that our funding will continue through the remainder of the year, and looking into next year's budget, that's the real question mark right now, is what next year is going to look like. We've received some information from the federal stimulus as well that we may be receiving that now. Whether that's a backfill in of lack of state funding or if it's additional funding on top, we don't know that right now. There's a lot of unknowns.
What resources are available for parents who are at home in wake of COVID-19?
What resources are available? Regarding what?
Just having kids at home right now. If there's any, it's just resources, I guess, in general.
Yeah, I think right now everyone's adjusting. I think the easiest thing to find some resources are on our Facebook page. We're putting out a lot of information, as well as on our website. So we are partnering very, very closely with community agencies. The city of Cottonwood has been absolutely fantastic in working forward, looking at the different things that they have to offer. I just saw something yesterday from the Cottonwood Rec Center for some online activities and exercise classes they have offered. I think right now everyone is stepping up to the plate, but again, it's uncharted territory for all of us, and so we're making this up as we go to a large degree. But the collaboration is going to be absolutely key moving forward, and we're very grateful for all of our partners.
It's no secret that I'm a big sports guy, and I do play-by-play for Mingus High School, and now sports season is over. Can we talk a little bit about the cancellation of the rest of the sports year?
Yeah, sure. It's another one of those things. Sports are good for kids. Being outside, being active, enjoying. Right before we went to spring break, I had the chance to go and sit in the grass and watch some baseball games that we have going on in our district, and soccer games, and seeing what kids were doing out there and the families, and just enjoying the weather and being healthy. So it is a hard thing to say goodbye to right now, but we're planning on coming back in August and getting all of our programs going then as well.
What changes have you or will you make in light of the outbreak?
So changes regarding
at the district level.
So I think I just received an email from a teacher, a young teacher, who was just awarded a grant through the Yavapai County Education Foundation for a class project. And it was one of the most uplifting letters I've ever received, because she said that when we do come back, what we're going to be is that much stronger for all the skills and all the collaboration and all the growth in the relationships that we've built with one another. And I think that's going to be the most powerful piece. As we look towards the future, we do have to keep our eyes on the future, because this will end. And what can we learn from it? What are the silver linings? What are the good things that we can take from this? And I think that's going to be our strength. We are growing much more close together, and that's an important thing to have. And across this district, I speak with teachers every day. I speak with administrators every day, and they lift me up with their innovation, their creativity, and their problem-solving skills in overcoming what we're facing right now.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. We have seen a lot of this sort of community rally around sort of reducing the spread of COVID-19 and just everybody working together. We're seeing it at a lot of levels, and I agree. It is very, very nice to see it, especially at the school district level. Like I mentioned earlier, you guys were really good about jumping on top of this pandemic and making decisions quickly and making the correct decisions. And I think I agree. I think that letter is beautiful, and I think it's going to, in the future, when if and when this happens, something like this happens again, we're going to be a lot more prepared this time.
I believe that as well. And not just for situations like this, but for any situation. I think what this is giving us right now is a confidence that we have the ability to look at situations that we may never have even imagined, but we have the ability to respond to them appropriately and grow. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's there's a lot of already we're seeing a lot of good things coming from this.
Are the school playgrounds open or closed during this time?
So that's a great question, Phil, and I appreciate you asking that. Officially, our schools' playgrounds are closed, and the reason for that is because they can get kind of germy. And what we are doing is we're encouraging people as much as possible, just like everyone else, to stay home. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out in your yard and get some sunshine. It doesn't mean you can't have kids going out and running around their areas. But please, stay away from other people right now as much as possible physically. But that doesn't mean you can't connect. And everyone's just a phone call away. And we have a saying posted on our Facebook page that every hand we don't shake and every person we don't hug should be a phone call. And we need to continue reaching out because everybody needs to lift everybody up right now.
Can we talk a little bit about next year's school year? Where are we right now regarding next year?
So right now, with all the information that's coming from the state, we are planning on opening as normal in August. Now, what that's going to look like, we're in the planning phases for that right now, or at least the thought phases for that. Because when these kids come back and when these families come back to our schools, it's going to be different. I think that these times have been traumatizing for a lot of people, and we have to be very, very aware of that. But it won't be business as usual. I don't think it can be. I think it will be forever changed by this in a lot of ways, and we have to recognize that the most important thing we can be doing is to build those relationships with our kids and families and get closer to them. That is the most important thing that we can be doing.
Again, Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. We are going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation right here on Countywide. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Solid Rock Fitness is a one-on-one fitness studio specializing in fitness over 50. I train older adults of all fitness levels, from athletes and avid sports participants to folks with chronic pain to those recovering from surgeries. You and I will focus on strength training to improve overall muscle tone, core conditioning, balance, agility, flexibility, and nutrition. Mastery of these components of fitness will help you live your life to the fullest with confidence and competence.
Paul Stanley here with Stanley Steel Structures. We offer shade structures that provide style, value, and performance. Our Equinox louvered roof opens and closes to give you the ultimate patio experience. We also offer Alumawood shade covers that looks like wood but lasts like steel and never needs painting or maintenance. Visit us at StanleySteelStructures.com. Contact us today and be covered tomorrow. Stanley Steel Structures. Let us add some space to your place.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in-ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at C&B Homes.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Want to welcome you back here to Countywide. We are continuing our conversation with Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King over the phone today. Again, we're doing things a little bit differently now on Countywide. Their website is cocsd.us, and you can find them on Facebook. Just type in Cottonwood Oak Creek on Facebook, and you can find the school district's Facebook page. Mr. King, we're just going to wrap things up here. Again, the school year has moved on to online. What resources are there for parents while they make the transition to online learning?
So the key thing is look at our platform that has been upgraded just this week, and that was a lot of work by a lot of people in our district, teachers, administrators, all the way from the top to the bottom to make it more user-friendly. But again, I do want to emphasize that these are resources, and the key thing is if you have any questions or if we can give any help, just reach out to your teachers or directly to your schools and just let us know what we can do to help you.
Again, cocsd.us is their website. What programs are still going on while the schools are closed?
So the programs, well, we don't have any programs going on besides where we have our online. Our schools are still working. Our facilities are cleaning and sanitizing and keeping things up to grade so that when we do come back, whenever that order comes down from the governor, that we're ready to open. Our transportation services are still utilizing the buses as well as the drivers to push out meals as well as homework, as well as information. And so there's a lot of people that are continuing to work. Life goes on. Life is continuing, and our services are continuing to the best of our ability.
Again, that is the Cottonwood Oak Creek School Superintendent Steve King. Their website, cocsd.us. Again, find them on Facebook, Cottonwood Oak Creek School on Facebook. Mr. King, thank you very, very much for taking the time to talk to me.
No, thank you very, very much, Phil. I appreciate it. We'll get through this thing together.
Yes, we definitely will. That is going to do it for this episode of Countywide. I'm Philip Catafamo. I want to thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.